All right, so we're diving into a case that has captivated true crime fans for over a decade.
A case that's as perplexing as it is tragic.
The Long Island serial killer, or as most know him, L.I.S.K.
Yeah, L-I-S-K, a name that conjures up images of desolate beaches and unanswered questions.
It's a story that starts with a missing woman, Shanann Gilbert, and ends up uncovering a string of victims along the desolate shores of Gilgo Beach.
Between 1996 and 2010, the remains of at least 10 to 16 people were found, and most of them were women.
And that discovery back in December 2010. Man, it was like something straight out of a nightmare for those officers.
Can you imagine? You're searching for this missing woman, and you stumble upon not one, but 4 bodies.
4.
Each one carefully wrapped in burlap sacks.
That's chilling, right? Like the burlap sacks alone, it speaks volumes.
Absolutely. It suggests premeditation, a level of planning that's just bone-chilling.
It's not like something you just grab on a whim, you know?
Right. This wasn't an impulsive act. This was methodical, organized, deliberate.
And this discovery of these 4 victims really blew the case wide open.
It was the catalyst that launched this massive investigation.
But here's where things get really complicated. The link between Shanann Gilbert and these other victims. Is there one?
That is the million-dollar question, and it's a question that has haunted investigators from the beginning.
Was Shanann just the tip of the iceberg? Or was her death unrelated to the others?
And that's what makes this case so difficult to pin down. There's this cloud of uncertainty surrounding Shanann's fate.
So if she was a victim of LASK, it expands his hunting ground.
It suggests he was operating with a wider net than initially thought.
But if she wasn't a victim, well...
then you're potentially looking at multiple killers in the same area.
And let's not forget about the victims themselves, right? Primarily young women, many of whom worked as escorts or advertised their services on Craigslist.
A vulnerable population often targeted by predators.
It's a heartbreaking pattern, and it makes you wonder, was this about power, control, or something even darker?
Understanding the motive is crucial in profiling a killer like this.
Absolutely. And the timeline of the killings. It's all over the place, spanning several years.
Yeah, you've got victims disappearing from different towns across Long Island.
Right, like from Oak Beach to Manorville, even Fire Island.
It's a vast area, and it paints a picture of someone who wasn't just passing through.
Right. He knew Long Island like the back of his hand, suggesting a local or someone deeply familiar with the area.
That familiarity with Long Island is a critical piece of the puzzle. It's not someone randomly dumping bodies, it's someone who feels comfortable in this environment.
And speaking of complicated, let's talk about the investigation itself.
Oh boy, where do we even begin with that?
Jurisdictional disputes, evidence issues, missteps by law enforcement.
It was a perfect storm of obstacles and setbacks.
You had multiple agencies involved, different jurisdictions, different priorities.
And that lack of coordination, well, it creates these gaps, you know? Information gets siloed and crucial time is lost.
Just look at the Atlanta child murders case. Those jurisdictional issues allowed that killer to continue his reign of terror for far too long.
It's a frustrating reminder of how bureaucracy can hinder even the most well-intentioned investigations.
Exactly. And over the years, we've seen so many suspects and theories thrown around, right?
Right. It's a whirlwind of speculation.
Locals, people connected to law enforcement, even those involved in real estate deals.
Everyone had their own pet theory, but none of them have panned out.
And with limited forensic evidence, it's like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing, right?
Those burlap sacks, that's a significant detail.
Right. But without more to go on, it's hard to make any concrete connections.
It's the lack of that smoking gun that has kept this case in the shadows for so long.
But maybe, just maybe, there's a glimmer of hope on the horizon.
Think about the advances in forensic technology we've seen recently.
DNA analysis is light years ahead of where it was even a decade ago.
Exactly. Techniques like familial DNA searching have cracked cold cases that we never thought possible.
Look at the Golden State Killer case. That was solved using familial DNA.
And that same technology could hold the key to finally identifying LISK.
So what have we learned? Shanann Gilbert's death remains an enigma.
A mystery that continues to fuel speculation.
The victims were primarily vulnerable women, preyed upon in a tragic pattern.
The killer operated with a chilling familiarity with Long Island.
And despite a whirlwind of suspects and theories, we still lack that definitive piece of evidence.
It's a puzzle that continues to baffle, but there's reason to be optimistic.
With advancements in forensic science, justice might finally be within reach.
It's not just about closure for the families, but a sense of peace for a community that has lived in fear for so long.
But here's a thought to leave you with. What if LISK is still out there watching us, listening to this very conversation.
It's a chilling thought, isn't it?
It's a reminder that even in the age of technology, some monsters remain hidden.
And it underscores the importance of understanding the psychology behind these crimes.
The why, the how, the intricate connections between killer and victim.
Those are the pieces that can truly unlock a case like this.
Till then, the mystery of the Long Island serial killer endures.
A haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And never stop seeking the truth.
Even when it's buried deep.
Keep those lights on.
And stay safe out there.